Nintendo Switch is going to make history. Let's talk about it. There's a tweet today that shows Nintendo Switch active users, I believe annually. Now, why this makes a huge difference and why I was just like, whoa, this is insane. And especially like, we're going to go over the reason why I think that it's definitely going to be a historic run with Switch 2. And it really blows my mind because Nintendo Switch 2, although Nintendo never really known for these outlandish graphics, it's still pretty cool to see that because I'm like, dang, Switch kind of just launched as an outdated model per se. If it depends on who you are, you'll think Switch was probably an outdated model the whole time. When you go against other, household consoles in the main console wars, Switch would probably be last when it comes to resolution, graphics, and all that. And other games that prove to have been, if you look at Mortal Kombat on Xbox, PlayStation versus Switch, and other games like that, right? Witcher, like everything. We all know how that goes already, right? It's a way smaller compact system, resolution-wise, chip-wise, GPU-wise, CPU-wise type correlations. And of course, we'll never expect that to happen. But with Switch 2, and that just blew my mind again, like with just those active users, that people just love Switch monumentally, right? Before we go into Switch 2 in totality, Switch now is still doing great. People are still jumping into their Switch, grinding their Switch, buying stuff for their Switch still to this day. And it makes that so incredible. Somebody like me who used to put Nintendo a lot on the back burner, and here's why I feel like it's gonna go on a historic run coming up with Switch 2. Obviously, Switch 2 coming in April really does help, but not just Switch 2 coming in April, more like the aspect of it, the outlook of it is the fact that it's going to be running like a PS4 for the most part. Finally, a modern type console. I mean, it's still last gen, but it's way better than what Nintendo has been. Switch, at least looks wise, right? And I feel that's already pretty cool because now Nintendo Switch has somewhat of a competitive edge finally when it comes down to actual console wars per se. And so it almost being technically, I would say docked, at least being a PS4. I don't know how it's going to be handheld still. That's just the rumors from what we're reading right now. And also the fact that it's going to be new. So now this gives us a lot of hype around this because Nintendo actively has stuff. So not only is it going to be up to par modern wise, it's going to have a lot of correlation when it comes to all the titles now. We're going to have a lot of big name titles. You also have GTA 6 saying that they really want to support Switch 2, which now goes into somewhat of Steam Deck. I mean, it doesn't look like the Steam Deck, of course not, but it goes into Steam Deck rivalry. Is going to go a little bit more. Now, we always have Switch versus Steam Deck comparisons, but this is definitely going to ramp it up a lot more if they can bring games like this. And Xbox also has something going on with Nintendo to bring Call of Duty to Nintendo. So I'm sure if that becomes a success and how that looks and how that operates servers wise, just overall wise, that might be another trial for Xbox to actually get into Nintendo at a higher rate, bringing like Halo. And I know there is already rumors saying that Halo is coming around. Halo and other big name titles, Gears of War and stuff like that. So is Gears of War already on Nintendo? I don't think so, right? Am I wrong on that? I don't know. Y'all gotta let me know about that. But yeah, those are just some of the things that I feel why Switch 2 is going to be historic. It's already doing great right now actively and never really had a chance to be a modern type console. If you call it a console. I call it a console because being undocked. Now this is going to help so much. Now they get to revamp themselves. They have a PS4 outlook. They're going to have all their main title games launching around. We already have the confirmation of the next Mario Kart. I'm pretty sure Smash Brothers is coming around. And a new Pokemon's already confirmed. So now all these fresh titles with better graphics. And now the other question is it going to launch already with OLED? Well, I think it is. There's a great comment I got also in my other video. So I do appreciate y'all when y'all do comment and leave y'all's thoughts. Cheap plug. But there was somebody that said, why would they go backwards? When I said, like, hopefully the Switch 2 launches with OLED to give us a huge shot on really appreciating the console. The backwards compatibility is going to be huge also. So if they don't make a Smash Bros immediately or something, you could still play Ultimate. Hopefully they can make like a new gen update. Maybe if they do that, right? That's a good question too. Like, are they going to be able to make new gen updates? Kind of like how every time Xbox switches over to the next Xbox, they just get that, that plus $10 to get the next gen version. Or PlayStation's still doing that to this day. Games are all doing it to this day, right? Is Nintendo going to do that with their backwards compatibility? Are we going to get a Smash Bros? And if we don't get a brand new title anytime soon, well, if we have Switch 2 and Smash Ultimate, well, is there going to be like a Switch 2 upgrade or like a little graphics update, maybe a little graphics push? Not like a remastered or anything, but just something that kind of really elevates that aspect to kind of just gives a better feeling of the game. I don't know. With OLED, that'd be pretty fire though. I'm not going to lie. But yeah, that's just one question that everybody's gonna be asking, of course, in the backwards compatibility, and that's gonna also bring a lot of people to Switch 2. Because another question also that majorly floats around to this day is like, should I get an OLED or should I get a Switch 2, or maybe get an OLED and turn in the OLED and get some money back or credit back and then get my Switch 2 from that. There's a lot of speculations on what we're really expecting, but one we do know is what I said earlier, is that GTA 6 for sure. At least for the most part, they want to support. We're gonna get some Xbox titles possibly coming to the Switch. Then we already have a huge active user rate with Nintendo Switch right now, being what is it, like 7 years old already, 8 years old, and software can be outdated in people's eyes. I still love it. It's comfortable. I don't know. I love the Switch. I just love winding down my nights and just being on my Switch. I don't care if I'm just floating around looking at the eShop, praying for something to pop up. I just like the feeling of just scrolling around on it. I always will love my Switch. So yeah, that's something that's going to be historic, from GTA to Halo to crossover titles to ports, maybe updates. It looking like a PS4. So that gives it a huge jump from what we're used to. And then there's also one more final thing that I want to end off with. I know I've repeated myself a few times just to kind of clarify, because what I'm saying is not fully definitive, but I think it is debatable, and there's some valid arguments in here of what I'm having as to why it'll have a historic run Switch 2. The last thing is that people are mentioning, at least behind in the Nintendo team, are mentioning that this looks like it's why they want to bring GTA 6, because they feel that Nintendo has graduated from like a youthful approach. And that's something I said as soon as I saw that teaser trailer that we saw. Remember when that little sneaky one, little nonchalant little launch, they were cool with it. They showed off like a little bit more of a sleek design, not like a Steam Deck, but something where it looks like it's matured, that they're looking to really push a little bit more mature games. And also what I did try to explain in previous videos too was that, well, they have sections for like 18 and up type games, with like what they do in their expansion pack with N64, where there's like here's like a 18 and up section, you get these games. That would be pretty cool also, right? Just to keep family friendly, because we know Nintendo has always had family friendly stuff, and that's what it's known for. Of course, it's quirky, it's fun, it's aesthetically beautiful. Will they have a darker approach to Nintendo, a little bit older and stuff like that? I think they can do it if they separate it the right way, have a great UI with tons of content and categories, kind of like the way like Game Pass looks, I guess you can say. Maybe that would be another historic run for Switch 2, if they can have something like a Game Pass, or they can have something like the way just anything, right, like the way Amazon is on video, or sometimes how YouTube UI is, depending on where you're at, just to kind of keep it cleaned up. But I would say definitely like more like an Amazon type UI with Prime Video, or the way what I just say right now, the other UI, the Game Pass UI, that'd be pretty cool too, or like the Xbox layout. So hopefully we do get if we have a great UI, then it's definitely going to be amazing. Something where casual audiences can grasp onto and still play their favorite games, play like their classic segments, their games they actually buy for Switch 2, and then other games that are probably 18 and older, where their Switch is trying to mature and push their graphics realms, or maybe they have early access type test, or test kind of like how Mortal Kombat did, where it's like a test threshold where they test how far their graphics can go and how great the game is going to run on certain approaches. Maybe they do something like that. I mean, there's a lot of variations Switch can do to help push and give us what we really want in a handheld hybrid console. Again, returning as a hybrid, the name itself doesn't make this waza, like it's just Switch 2, but I feel for major fans it's going to be fun, and I think we would be able to bring that feedback transparent to make people want to buy it anyway, because we're going to get it, man. We're fanatics of it. So it's going to be cool, man. the marketing name might not be much, but I feel they are going to really try to push this limit on how much it can perform. And that's what I'm really excited for when it comes to Switch 2, to be honest, man. But yeah, y'all let me know y'all's thoughts. I just really wanted to share with y'all that statistic and the facts and some of the bigger rumors that are really like usually data mined that are correct. And then I also want to provide some of my feedback on why I know Switch 2 will be historic, and it definitely is. It's going to be fresh. There's a lot of stuff, backwards compatibility, way better graphics, a more of a mature approach. Some Xbox games titles coming in early, possibly, and then later on, I think a lot more, especially if it's looking to stay around this rate of 7 to 8 years. And that's a long time, and I know they'll have some good stuff, man. But yeah, y'all let me know what's up. I appreciate y'all, man. Drop your thoughts. What are you excited for Switch 2? Like, do you think it's gonna be historically great? Do you think it's just something you'll wait off on and just wait for everything to really kind of simmer down, or what's good, man? I appreciate y'all. Peace.